Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast, the place where your English gets better every time you listen. I'm your host, Sarah, and today's episode is going to be, well, a little dreamy.
Dreamy is right. Hey everyone, I'm Bill, your co-host, and we're diving into a really interesting question today. Can you actually learn English while you sleep? Sounds like magic, right?
It really does. But trust me, this topic isn't just science fiction. More and more people are exploring sleep learning as a way to improve their language skills, especially listening, vocabulary, and even pronunciation.
And we're going to break it all down for you. From how your brain works while you're sleeping, to what kind of English you should be listening to, and yes, even what not to do if you want it to work.
Exactly. Plus, we'll share some tips to help you build your own nightly routine and maybe even inspire you to start tonight.
So if you've ever wished you could improve your English without even trying, or while lying in bed, this episode is for you.
Grab your blanket, relax, and let's unlock the secrets of how to learn English while sleeping. Ready, Bill?
Ready when you are, Sarah. Let's dream in English.
So, Bill, let's start with the basics. What exactly is sleep learning? I mean, it sounds a bit like science fiction listening to English while you sleep and waking up smarter.
Yeah, it definitely sounds too good to be true. But sleep learning, or hypnopedia, is the idea that your brain can absorb information even when you're asleep, especially things like vocabulary, phrases, or sounds.
Exactly. But it's important to clear up a few myths. Sleep learning doesn't mean you'll wake up speaking perfect English after one night of listening to a podcast. It's not some kind of magic spell.
Nope, no magic involved. What really happens is that your brain keeps working while you sleep, especially during certain sleep stages, like light sleep or the early part of the night. Your brain can actually process sounds even if you're not fully awake.
Right, and that's why many language learners listen to English audio while they sleep. It helps your brain get used to the rhythm, sounds, and structure of the language, almost like background learning.
Yeah, it's like soaking your brain in English overnight. The more you hear it, the more familiar it becomes, even if you're not consciously paying attention.
But here's something interesting. Sleep learning works best when it's combined with active learning during the day. Think of it like this. You plant the seeds during the day and water them at night while you sleep.
Nice metaphor, Sarah. And I think it's really important for our listeners to understand. Sleep learning is a support tool. It's not a shortcut to fluency, but it can boost your progress.
Totally. And we'll talk more about how to actually do it the right way in the next part. But for now, just remember, sleep learning is real, but it's not about dreaming in perfect English after one night.
Unless you're dreaming about your English teacher chasing you with a grammar book.
Oh no, that would be a nightmare, not a dream.
All right, Sarah, so we've talked about what sleep learning is. But let's go a bit deeper. What does science say about all of this? Is there any real research behind learning while we sleep?
Absolutely, Bill. Sleep isn't just for rest, it's actually a very active time for the brain. When we sleep, especially during deep sleep and REM stages, our brains are busy organizing, processing, and storing information we've learned while we were awake.
That's called memory consolidation, right?
Exactly. Memory consolidation is when your brain takes new information and moves it into long-term memory. So if you've been studying English during the day, maybe learning new vocabulary, or practicing conversations, your brain keeps working on that info while you sleep.
That's so cool. So even if we're not learning something new while sleeping, we're strengthening what we've already started to learn?
That's right. But here's where it gets interesting. Several studies have actually shown that listening to specific information during sleep can improve recall.
Really? Like what kind of studies?
Well, there was a well-known study from researchers in Switzerland. They had participants learn pairs of foreign words before going to bed. Then, while the participants slept, the researchers played some of those word pairs quietly in the background.
And did it work?
Yes, the people who heard the word pairs during sleep remembered them significantly better the next day compared to the ones who didn't hear anything.
That's amazing. So the brain can still hear and react to sound, even while we're out cold?
Yes, especially in lighter stages of sleep. The brain can still detect familiar sounds and patterns, and it can strengthen the memory links. But here's the key. It works best with information you've already been exposed to.
So in other words, don't expect to play an advanced English audiobook while you sleep and wake up with a British accent.
Exactly. It's more like a reinforcement technique, not a magic pill. Listening to vocabulary, common phrases, or simple English dialogues that you already practiced during the day, that's where the magic happens.
I love that. So basically, sleep helps your brain rehearse what you've already learned. And adding audio while you sleep can boost that process.
Yes, it's kind of like giving your brain a second study session without the stress.
Now that's a smart way to learn.
Totally. And coming up next, we're going to give our listeners some practical ways they can actually do this, what to listen to, how long, and how to make it part of a nightly routine.
Don't go to sleep just yet. We've got some tips coming that could change the way you learn English forever.
All right, now that we understand what sleep learning is and what science says about it, let's talk about the how. How can our listeners actually use their sleep time to learn English more effectively?
Great question. And let's keep it simple. Step 1 is choosing the right kind of audio. Not all content is good for sleep learning. You want something that's clear, slow, and repetitive.
Yes, things like simple vocabulary lists, short English phrases, or common dialogues. Some people even listen to daily affirmations or English sentence patterns. The key is, it should be easy to understand and not stressful to listen to.
Totally. If it's too complex, your brain won't connect with it during sleep. Also make sure the voice is calm and soothing. You don't want someone yelling grammar rules at you while you're trying to rest.
Exactly. Now let's talk about the environment. Keep the room dark and comfortable, and make sure your phone or device is set to airplane mode so you don't get disturbed.
Good point. Also, keep the volume low, just loud enough to hear the words, but not so loud that it wakes you up. You want your brain to catch the sound in the background.
Yes, and some people like to use a sleep timer or playlist loop. For example, you can set your audio to play for the first hour of sleep. That's when your brain is in light sleep and most receptive.
And what about what not to do?
Ah, good one. Don't use music with lyrics in the background. It can confuse the brain. And avoid noisy or dramatic content like action movies, news, or random YouTube videos. That can disrupt your sleep and ruin the learning.
Another tip. Try to listen to the same audio multiple nights. Repetition helps your brain absorb the patterns. It's better to listen to one dialogue 10 times than 10 different dialogues once.
That's true. You're training your ear and your subconscious to get used to English sounds. And after a few weeks, you'll start noticing you recognize phrases more easily, your pronunciation improves, and your confidence goes up.
Let's give a quick example. Say you're working on travel English. During the day, you practice a dialogue like, "Excuse me, where is the nearest train station?" Then at night, you listen to that same dialogue softly, repeatedly, while you sleep.
Yes, the next morning, that sentence will feel more natural in your mind. It's like you've been hearing it in your dreams.
And you might even start to say it faster, without thinking. That's the beauty of passive learning. It makes active learning easier.
Exactly. So to sum up, 1. Choose simple, clear English audio. 2. Play it softly during light sleep. 3. Use the same content for several nights. 4. Combine it with active practice during the day.
Boom! A perfect sleep learning recipe. And hey, no stress, no homework, just relaxing in bed and letting English soak in.
That's the kind of studying I like.
All right, we've talked a lot about passive learning during sleep, but Sarah, you said something earlier that's really important. You said sleep learning works best when it's combined with active learning. Let's break that down.
Yes, this is a big one. Passive learning, like listening to English while you sleep, helps your brain get familiar with the language. But real progress happens when you mix it with active learning while you're awake.
So basically, it's not either or, it's both together, right?
Exactly. Think of it like this. Passive learning is like watering a plant. Active learning is like planting the seeds.
That's a great image. So if you're only watering the plant but never planting seeds, nothing's going to grow.
Right. That's why we recommend using your daytime to do things like practicing new vocabulary, having short English conversations, watching videos, or reading easy texts, repeating and speaking aloud.
And then at night, you reinforce what you learned by playing audio with the same vocabulary or phrases while you sleep.
Yes. This way, your brain keeps reviewing the material while you rest, and that helps it stick. You'll find that words feel more natural the next time you say them.
Here's a real-life example. Let's say you learn 10 new English words in the morning. You review them, use them in a sentence, maybe even write them down. Then, at night, you listen to those same words and example sentences while sleeping.
That's the combo. Day plus night. Active plus passive. You're working smart, not just hard.
And the best part? It doesn't feel like extra work. You're just using your sleep time to support your learning, no pressure, no stress.
Exactly. Just a small habit during the day and a short routine before bed can boost your learning faster than you think.
So to all our listeners out there, don't stop speaking and studying during the day. But start adding a little nighttime English too. That combination might be your secret to fluency.
And we're here to guide you through it. Okay, Bill, now that our listeners know how to do sleep learning the right way, let's talk about something equally important, the wrong ways. Let's bust some common myths and mistakes people make.
Oh yes, because there are a lot of misunderstandings out there. Myth number 1. I can become fluent in English just by sleeping with headphones on.
If only it were that easy. The truth is, sleep learning can support your fluency, but it cannot replace daily practice, speaking, reading, or writing. It's a tool, not magic.
Right. Another big mistake? Using the wrong kind of audio like loud music, movies, or fast conversations. That can disturb your sleep instead of helping you.
Yes, people think, I'll just play a random English podcast. But unless the content is simple, slow, and clear, your brain won't absorb it. It might even stress you out during sleep.
Here's another one. Trying to learn brand new topics while sleeping. That usually doesn't work well.
Exactly. Your brain needs some connection to the material. That's why we always say review what you've already learned during the day.
One more myth. The more hours I play the audio, the better. Not true. In fact, playing it all night could disrupt your sleep quality.
Totally. Sleep is sacred. We recommend short, focused listening, maybe 30 to 60 minutes during light sleep, using a timer or playlist loop.
So to all our listeners, don't fall for the hype. Sleep learning is powerful, but only when used wisely.
Smart learning, better sleep, and daily practice, that's the real path to fluency.
All right, now it's time to get practical. Let's give our listeners a simple, step-by-step night routine they can follow to use sleep learning effectively.
Love it. Here's a sample routine, easy to follow, even on busy days. Let's walk through it. Spend 10 to 15 minutes reviewing what you learned that day. Go over new vocabulary or repeat a short dialogue you studied. Say it out loud if you can.
Yes, this helps activate your memory so your brain is primed for what's coming during sleep. Now, pick your English audio. It could be a vocabulary list, phrases with translations, slow English conversations, positive affirmations, or sentence patterns.
Make sure it's relaxing and clear. No loud background music and nothing too advanced. Use headphones if you're comfortable or a small speaker by your bed. Set a sleep timer. 30 to 60 minutes is enough.
And always turn on airplane mode. No notifications or calls during sleep. Now lie down, relax, and let the English audio play. No need to focus or try too hard. Just drift off and let your brain do the work in the background.
Exactly. Your job is to sleep. Your brain will take care of the rest. When you wake up, replay the same audio for 5 minutes. You'll be surprised. Some words will feel more familiar.
It's like giving your memory a gentle push, and it really works.
So there you go, a simple night routine that supports both your sleep and your English learning.
Consistency is key. Do this every night for 2 to 3 weeks, and you'll start noticing real improvement.
All right, up next, let's talk about the best types of audio for sleep learning. Before we wrap up, I want to share a little story, something inspiring about sleep learning in real life.
Oh, I love stories. Go for it.
So there's this guy named Amir. He's originally from Turkey and had a tough time with English listening and speaking. He said, "I study during the day, but I forget so fast."
I can relate. That's a common struggle.
Exactly. Then he heard about sleep learning. He decided to try a simple routine. Every night he played short English dialogues while he slept just 30 minutes using a Bluetooth speaker near his bed.
Nice and simple.
And during the day, he'd review the same dialogue, repeat the sentences, and practice speaking.
So he combined passive and active learning just like we recommended.
Yep. After 3 weeks, he said he started to recognize the sentences faster. He didn't even think the words just came out naturally. His pronunciation improved too.
That's amazing. And all from using sleep time wisely.
Right. Amir said the biggest change was in his confidence. He felt like English was becoming part of his mind even in his dreams.
That's the goal. Make English part of your life, even your sleep.
So to our listeners, you don't need to be perfect. Just be consistent like Amir. Little by little, your brain will surprise you. All right, Bill, before we finish up, let's have some fun with a quick Q&A. I've gathered some questions our listeners often ask about sleep learning.
Sounds good. Fire away, Sarah.
Okay, first question. Can I learn English just by listening to audio while I sleep without studying during the day?
Ah, the classic one. My answer, no, you can't rely on sleep alone. It's a great booster, but active study and practice during the day are essential to really learn.
Exactly. Sleep learning supports your efforts but can't replace hard work, Dad. What's the best time to listen to English audio during sleep?
Great question. The first 1 or 2 hours after falling asleep are usually the best because your brain cycles through lighter sleep stages then. Using a timer for 30 to 60 minutes is perfect.
Here's another can kids use sleep learning too?
Definitely. Kids' brains are super adaptable, so sleep learning can work well, but make sure the audio is fun, clear, and age-appropriate.
Last one, should I use headphones or a speaker?
Good point. Headphones work if you're comfortable, but some people find them distracting while sleeping. A small, quiet speaker near your bed can work just as well.
Great tips. Hope that clears up some common questions.
Yeah, and if listeners have more questions, they can always reach out to us on social media.
All right, Bill, that was fun. Ready for our... Well, Bill, that brings us to the end of today's episode on how to learn English while sleeping. It's been such a fascinating journey.
Absolutely, Sarah. We covered a lot, from what sleep learning really is, to the science behind it, common myths, and even a practical night routine.
So, for our listeners, let's quickly recap the key takeaways. Sleep learning works best when combined with active learning during the day. Use simple, clear audio that relates to what you studied. Keep your sleep learning sessions short and relaxing, about 30 to 60 minutes. Avoid trying to learn completely new material only through sleep. Review first while awake. Consistency is key, make it part of your daily routine. And most importantly, take care of your sleep quality.
Perfect summary. Remember, your brain is powerful and can work for you even while you rest, but it needs the right support.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. We hope you feel inspired to try sleep learning and take your English skills to the next level.
Don't forget to subscribe and leave your questions or success stories in the comments. We love hearing from you.
Until next time, keep learning, keep dreaming in English.
Good night, everyone.